Pepsi Watson, Crime and Justice TV, broadcasting on Wednesday, the 3rd of July, 2019. Nice to see you all. So this video, I'm going to talk about my first time addicted to the drug heroin when I was 16 years old in 1998. In 1998, I was 16 years old. I had tried heroin a couple of times when I was 15 years old. It wasn't really intentional. It was more because of my kind of reckless life at the time, my chaotic life. And I hadn't, gone out to try and smoke heroin. But there was a guy called Tony Pole on the estate, and I used to sell him stolen car stereos and stolen bottles of vodka, which I used to steal from smash and grab commercial burglaries. And I would go around to this man's house, Tony Pole, and I would sell him the stolen goods, and he would be sitting on the sofa with CCTV cameras on his front door because he was a drug dealer. And he would be sitting on the sofa with a CB police scanner, CCTV, with a screen above the TV so he could watch everybody come to the door. And he would sit on the sofa chasing the dragon, smoking heroin on tinfoil. And as I used to sit on the sofa next to him, the tinfoil tube, which he used to chase the dragon with, he would blow the smoke from the heroin after he'd inhaled it into my mouth, and I would just inhale it. And that was the first few times that I tried heroin when I was 15. And I remember the feeling. It used to make me feel quite warm inside, like I was wrapped in cotton wool. I'd feel quite safe, and I would kind of just sink into the sofa and just feel quite warm and peaceful inside. So most of 1998 I spent in youth custody in young offenders institutions like Feltham and Warren Hill and Norwich. I was only out for a few weeks in 1998. My life was quite chaotic, like I mentioned. I was running away. I'd been in and out of children's homes, running away. I'd been in and out of youth custody a few times. I was sofa surfing, staying round my friends' sofas, just staying anywhere I could. I was committing crimes, stealing cars, committing commercial burglaries and doing smash and grabs on co-ops, shops, watch shops and other places. I was living a very reckless lifestyle. I used to cause a lot of harm. I had a disregard for society. I was very angry as a young teenager. I missed my family, and I replaced my family with a wide range of friends, mostly of which were negative influences. On the estate where I used to hang around in Norwich, there was a few heroin addicts who were a lot older than me, like in their 30s and 40s. At this time, I'd experimented with a lot of different drugs, prescription drugs, moggies, DFs, Valium, and I'd mix them with alcohol and just drink to oblivion. I did a lot of speed, amphetamines. I took cannabis, used to smoke a lot of puff around about this time in 1998. And I remember it was summer 1998, it was very hot, and my friend and I had raised some cash from some kind of criminal activity, I can't remember what it was. We just sort of, influenced each other really. We were like, should we get some brown? And my friend was just like, yeah, let's get some brown. And it felt really exciting. Everyone else was smoking puff. And we used to sit around my friends in his upstairs bedroom in the summer. We'd all sit on mattresses on our beds. And we'd sit there smoking puff, doing bongs, lungs, buckets, hot knives, pipes. The whole room would be full of cannabis smoke. And we'd sit there listening to Wu-Tang Clan, B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, MC Shabba, Skibbity, Det and Stevie Hyper D, and listen to jungle music.
Old school on this track, I feel invincible. This new school ain't really got rules and lack the principles. The more clowns, then the Motown get put in critical. The gun smoky, Robinson, you need a miracle. Go back, homie, back when rappers used to be lyrical with 9 out of 10.
Backroom passes, cutting classes, squeezing asses. Smoking blunts was a daily routine since 13. A chubby nigga on the scene. I used to have the tray deuce and the deuce in my bubble goose. Now I got the Mac in my knapsack, lounging black.
Hey, suele Buffy. Ready for round again. This one original bombastic trend on the weekend. Goes out to all the side crew inside the venue. Oh, maximum roll out the champion. Ready to roll. Get up on the bump down, gonna go. Get up on the bump down, gonna go. Gonna right for the ball, don't lose control. With the jungle, let's go back by flow. I know, you know, let's go. Who to the beach and take control. No baby, but the London, get up to the move and knock your elbow. Down on the level talk. Like the devil. My DJ, man, I'm in the metal. Move to the beat and sing like metal. Get up in the beat, no cycle. Coming on like Island Jekyll. Cool like this and hard like Kettle. My DJ metal. Going to the top of the table, you know we're willing and able. We're rocking on the stable, the number one label. We're Shabazz and Medea, no round the mic center. And I'm a bigger entertainer. For the gainer, for the member, for the skinner, for the joker, for the lyrics in the memo. You know them coming through. Now you're never doing on the venue. You're never doing on the venue. You simply not gonna argue. Riding, I'm riding you. You're never doing on the venue. You're never doing on the venue. Big up the massive, big up the crew. 1 for 1, 2 for 2. This is the style we're gonna do. So never be in on the venue. This is the style we're gonna do. Never do what is the boss through.
Vibe provider, it's a double rider. Walk them in the elbow, let's see me hyper. But they drink the spirit, but they drink the water. But they got the roast up, but they got the ganja. I've been at the place, don't be a troublemaker. I'm no faker, I'm no pretender. Lyrics on my brain, messing on the area. With a black raver, with a right waver. I'm the ganja like the colors on the zebra. Front on the cheetah, sights on the tiger. The game like market, you want the live wire. Don't believe you, I bet you the place on. Hold up the one if you want to follow the one, no. Hold up the one if you never know mission, no. Hold up the one if you want to follow the one, no. Hold up the one if you never know mission, weber.
Wow, that's brought back some memories. So this one day, my friend and I decided to score some brown, or smack, heroin. We bought £20 worth off a local addict, and I remember it came in a small package. So it was wrapped in a king-size Rizzler and then wrapped again in cling film, and it had 20 in black marker written on the outside of the small package. My friend and I, we didn't know how to chase the dragon properly on the tin foil. So I remember we just got some foil, ripped a bit off, burnt it to get all the chemicals out, and we made a tinfoil tube. We poured the brown powder onto the tinfoil, and because we didn't know how to chase the dragon properly, we just, what you call, genied it. So genieing it meant to just burn the brown powder from underneath the tinfoil and then just inhale the smoke. And the smoke would be very intense, and there would be a lot of smoke because we're not running it properly on the foil. So when we lit the brown powder from underneath the tin foil, the brown powder, the heroin, turned into like a black, thick, what they call a beetle. They call it a beetle. So the heroin would melt into this thick kind of liquid, and as you set it alight, it would create smoke. And if you left it and didn't light it, it would go into like a rock hard piece of brown heroin. So smoking this heroin and genieing this heroin on the tin foil properly for the first time just completely comatosed me. It made me feel numb inside and outside. It numbed all of my pain, numbed all of my emotion. It made me feel warm. It was orgasmic. On the film Trainspotting, when the guy asks him what's heroin like, and he says, take your best orgasm and times it by 1,000, and you're not even close. I would agree with that statement. It is orgasmic, and it just blocks all of your pain, all of your suffering, and it just makes you feel completely warm inside and enveloped in cotton wool. And I remember I just sat there comatose, sat up against the wall, dribbling, drifting in and out of consciousness, and just chain smoking roll-ups. Smoking heroin that first time properly was so nice, and it just gave me everything that I could have ever wished for. It became like a best friend, and it was so nice that I smoked it every single day for about 7 days, like a week. On the 8th day, I'd run out of money, and I woke up about noon. The sun was shining, and I'd had a long sleep. And what woke me up wasn't naturally just me waking up. What woke me up was a pain in my stomach, like a knot, like these intense stomach cramps. My stomach was in knots, my legs were aching and throbbing, and my toes felt like there was needles being forced into my toes. I was sweating, and as I got out of bed, I started coughing up an awful, like, acid taste type kind of phlegm, which I now know to be stomach acid, and I was retching over and over, but all that was coming out was this stomach acid, which just exploded into your mouth, this kind of nasty, acidic taste. I could taste this acidic taste all around my mouth. It was even coming out my nose. My nose was dribbling. Every muscle and bone in my body was aching and throbbing. My fingers, toes, my calf muscles, my triceps, my abs, my stomach, every part of my body was just aching and throbbing and crawling with this uncomfortable feeling, and it was just awful. And I remember sitting up on this mattress and sort of rocking, dripping with sweat, and saying out loud, I said it out loud, I need heroin, I need smack. My entire life just came crashing down on me. All my pain, all my suffering, all my fears, all my emotions. I was confused, scared, and felt cold, but I was dripping with sweat. This nightmare just went on and on for days and weeks as the drug heroin took over every aspect of my life, and I became trapped in a cycle of physical pain and dependence on heroin, scoring heroin, and committing crime to get money for heroin, to get money for this drug that had a physical and mental and psychological grip on my every waking moment of existence. Eventually, this chain of events led to me being arrested, and I was sent to prison for committing crimes. And I spent 2 days in the police cells waiting to go to court. And from the moment I was arrested and taken into custody, I was ill. I was cold, sweating, panicking. Heroin addiction creates an overwhelming desperation in you where you are so desperate for the drug, you will just do absolutely anything to get it. So I'm in the police station for like 50 hours. The custody sergeant has kept me in because he said if he releases me, I'm going to commit more crimes, which he was correct. I would have done. And I remember these 2 days, these 50 hours in police custody. I remember it vividly. I didn't sleep a wink. I felt like I was losing my mind. I was hallucinating. I was psychotic. I felt an overwhelming sense of helplessness, hopelessness. I was desperate. I remember crying out loud, just in the cell like this, like crying out loud. I remember feeling just an incredible despair. I was hot 1 minute, then cold the next minute, dripping with sweat, but freezing cold. I couldn't sit still for more than 5 seconds. All of my skin and my arms and my legs felt like it was crawling with like insects. If I felt like I wanted to like cut the top of my arms off, and I was punching my arms because they were just crawling. I wanted to just, you know, die. If I could have killed myself, I would have done. And if I had a gun with a bullet in it, I'd have just put it to the side of my temple and pulled the trigger, because withdrawing from heroin is just a living hell. It's your worst nightmare times by 100, and you're not even close. Every second that went by felt like an hour, and I just wanted to die. Addiction to heroin was the worst. I was taken to court, then prison, and I didn't sleep properly for like 3 or 4 weeks after, as this evil drug sweated itself out of my body. I later went on in my teenage years and early adult years to get 4 more. I got myself 4 more heroin habits, but they are another story which I will be uploading videos about at a later date. And trust me, things get a whole lot worse. Heroin is an evil drug that will destroy your life and hijack your soul. If you are a child at school, stay well clear of this evil drug, because it will destroy your entire life. It will strip you of all humanity and your dignity, and will kill you, and you won't survive past 45 or 50 years old. If you are a parent and you hear of your child being offered or sold the drug heroin, then I urge you to use all of your will and all of your resources to make sure that this problem is resolved by any means necessary. If it is too late and you're already addicted to the drug heroin, then please get help. Check into rehab, talk to somebody, ask for help, go to your local GP, your doctor. If you can't do any of the above, then get to a 12-step meeting at a local church, walk into a church, ask to speak to a priest or a pastor, and just say help. Ask them to help you, beg them to help you before it's too late, because once heroin has a grip on you physically, psychologically, and mentally, the evil drug that is heroin is going to take you to some evil, dark, and lonely, scary places, believe me. So that concludes my video. My first time addicted to heroin at 16 years old in 1998. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something and got something from it. Please share the video, like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Crime and Justice TV. That's it from me, Pepsi Watson, on Wednesday the 3rd of July. As always, I wish you good health, prosperity, blessings, and above all, and most importantly, may you continue to love by recognizing yourself in others.